So we're going to go ahead and get started. I wanted to say hello to everyone and welcome to our annual town hall meeting for Region 21 that's being sponsored by the regional management team. I'm Darren Hurst, the team coordinator, and I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy Saturday to be on this call. The purpose of the town hall is an activity required by our organization, but more importantly, it's an opportunity for members of our region to learn about much of what's happening behind the scenes that you may not be aware of, including a picture of what's happening with our finances. But it also gives the team an opportunity to publicly thank all the people who have helped us and worked with us over the course of this year. So I know a lot of you are on the call today because you're interested in finding out about regional competition in 2022, and we are definitely going to talk about that. But it'll be at the end of the presentation, so we can take the time that we need to go through the important things that we have. But we will have a question and answer session at the end so that you can get all your questions answered. So Victoria's going to talk about what's happening, and then you'll have an opportunity at the end to ask your questions after we go through some of our appreciation and some of the things that we've been working on in the region. During the course of our call today, I ask for your grace and indulgence on some things. I know we're all tired about hearing about uncertain times and COVID and all of that, but it really has been a reality for this team, especially in a volunteer organization like ours. Much of what we've been working on this past year has been, and the year before, requires lots of creative thinking, decisions, discussions, and time spent as we work through various situations. And very importantly, since much of what we're doing has not been done before, we will possibly and likely make mistakes along the way, and there will need to be changes. So we ask that you remain patient while we try to figure out solutions. So without further ado, we're going to move on to the next slide, which is just an introduction of our regional management team. So the first person on the team is our communications coordinator. That's Tammy Meyers. Then comes our, and I'm assuming you're highlighting these, I can't see you, but directors coordinator is Andy Rostel. Andy works with all the directors, obviously. Tammy works with our newsletter and putting communications out to everybody in the region. Our education coordinators, Leah Ripito, and she joined us in August and has been amazing trying to set up educational events for us and moving forward into the future. Our events coordinator, Victoria, has had a monumental job of trying to think through everything that is going to happen for regional coming up. And she, because she's a professional events coordinator, she is amazing. Robin Haddock has been doing our finances and learning all about that. She took over from Mary, and she has been learning all about how to do finances for Region 21. Claudia Cannon has been doing our marketing, which includes our new website. She's going to talk about that in a little bit. And Claudia has a marketing background, also super passionate and engaged in what we're doing, and really heavily involved in this new website we've been working on. Our membership coordinator is Bev Bertinelli. Bev, I never say your name right, sorry about that. And Bev is in charge of making sure members are getting the care and feeding that they need. And last but not least is me, Darren Hurst. So I'm kind of trying to lead this team and trying to get us through all of this challenge that we're dealing on. Before I leave this slide, I want to talk about the roles. We do have some roles available. If you're interested in serving or helping or volunteering, you don't necessarily have to take on a leadership role, but most of our positions could definitely use assistance to help us, especially now we're putting in, most of us, a lot of extra time as we work through all of this. And if you are interested in serving in a leadership role, we love to do the shadow program. So you can come in for 6 months to a year before you would ever have to take over a role to learn how to do that role first. So we're trying definitely not to throw you into, anything that you're not prepared to do. So that's about our team. Moving on to the next slide, which is regional management team farewells. There were 4 people that were on the team last year and this year who were really instrumental in helping us keep going. Dale Ann Kerrigan worked as the directors coordinator right before Andy came on and did a great job keeping the directors engaged. Former education coordinator, Kim Bettendorf. Wow, did she have some fantastic educational events for us before she had to leave. Next, our former finance coordinator, Mary Chilton. Man, she did that for years. I don't know what we would do without her. And she's been really instrumental in helping Robin learn this new job. And finally, our former team coordinator, Adelina Duda, who was amazing as a mentor to me. As I've learned to take over this, been very patient with me. And she was the team leader for, I think, a couple of years. And prior to that, she did membership. So she was on the team for a really long time. And we thank all of these women for their outstanding service and volunteer time to Region 21. It was really important. So going on to the next slide. So one of the things that we worked on as a team initiative this year was how to do team building, how to progress along as a better team, and especially what kind of strategic planning needed to happen. We have lots of ideas, we have lots of energy, and we needed to be able to get together as a group and work through that. So what we did was we hired a professional coach to come and work with us. His name is Mike Mitchell. Mike Mitchell has worked with both the Scottsdale Chorus and the San Diego Chorus through and helping them through strategic planning and team building sessions. So we hired Mike to come in. He did 3 one-hour sessions with us, and then he did a weekend, a whole strategic planning session. And out of that came a document that we're able to live by. And when you receive a copy of this, we're going to be sending out a copy of this presentation. At the end of this, there'll be a copy of the working document that we're working off of as we kind of go through the strategic planning that we're working on. So Mike helped us prepare that, helped us think through the ideas, which is really a challenging process. So we've asked Mike to be on this call and talk a little bit about why strategic planning and team building is so important. So Mike, if you would step in here, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
You bet. Thank you for having me. I apologize for my appearance. I walked in the house about 30 minutes ago to get cleaned up for this call and found that I had a massive water leak in one of my toilets running all over the house.
No.
So I spent the last 30 minutes trying to clean up some of the mess. So again, my apologies. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and share screen here and show you a little presentation that I put together, just sort of quick and dirty. Can you guys see that? Awesome. Okay, so the principles that I'm going to talk about for just a couple of minutes come out of this book called The 4 Obsessions of an Extraordinary Executive. Pat Lencioni is a leadership coach and an author and has built some phenomenal tools. And I read this book about 20 years ago, and it sort of captured the way that I approach things as a business and organizational coach. And so the principles in this book are fourfold. The first one is the role of a leadership team is to build and maintain a cohesive leadership team. It's so vitally important that you develop team cohesion. And I'm going to talk for a couple minutes in a moment about what does that look like. The second thing that the leadership team is supposed to do is create organizational clarity. Where are we going and why are we trying to go there? To give the organization alignment with where we're trying to head. The third thing is to over communicate that organizational clarity. How do we communicate it again so that everybody understands it? And then finally, the fourth discipline is reinforcing that through your human systems. Is everything aligned to help support the clarity that you've worked so hard to define? And so a lot of what I do with organizations and come into leadership teams and help them develop these disciplines. And so as Darren was saying, with your regional management team, we spent a week, some one-on-one time, and then as well as a weekend together working on disciplines 1 and 2. Well, what does discipline 1 look like? Well, it's all based on this concept called the 5 dysfunctions of a team. The guy that wrote the book that I just referenced also wrote a book by this title that was on the New York Times bestseller business list for a long time. And some of you have probably heard about it or may have even read it. But the principles are, right, dysfunctional teams demonstrate an absence of trust. In other words, the people on the team don't trust one another, and so they withhold information. And when we do that, then we're afraid to engage in conflict. And I'm not talking about ugly conflict. I'm talking about the ability to have healthy conflict around ideas. And if they don't have the conflict, it's still under the surface, then they end up manifesting a lack of commitment to the decisions that they've made. And then if there's no commitment, then they avoid accountability for the things that they agreed to do. And once we get to that place of avoiding accountability, the reality is nobody's really focusing on results. They're just sort of focused on protecting their own status and ego. So we worked through an exercise with your regional management team for them to help develop some team cohesion and figure out what we needed to do to root out some of these dysfunctions, which in any team, right, this could just as easily be called the 5 dysfunctions of a family. Okay, I've certainly seen it in my family included, but they worked hard on rooting out some of those things. And then with that foundation, we were able to move forward into developing some clarity, right? And so the strategic planning process that I utilize takes us through, and it fundamentally focuses on 4 things. It answers these questions, right? Our purpose is, why do we exist? What's the organization there for at all? What do we want to be? In other words, even better, what do we want to be when we grow up, right? When we're reinventing ourselves, what do we want the future to look like? Next is our values. What are the principles that guide us in the way that we want to operate our team? And then finally, our mission, which is, what are we going to focus on now? Of all the things that need to happen to make the vision realized, what do we need to be working on right now? So the strategic plan that Darren referenced that you're going to get an opportunity to look at, read through is exactly this. Okay, we work through defining what this looks like for the regional management team, and therefore the actions that they're committed to taking over the course of the next months to move this forward. So I'm going to stop showing screen here, if I can remember how to do that. Oh, here we go. Well, maybe not. Okay, well, I'm not sure how I get off of that, but oh, here we go. Stop sharing. All right, so as Darren said, I've worked with the San Diego chorus along with the Scottsdale chorus, and now of course done work with your regional management team. And I'm available if in any way, shape, or form I can help you in your organizations. I'll be glad to do that. Do you have any questions before I jump off? Again, I just wanted to share with you a little bit about what we've been doing. Okay.
Okay. Mike, thank you for being here. I appreciate your time.
You bet. Y'all take
All right.
care. Have a great
Thanks a lot.
meeting. Bye now.
Okay, thank you very much.
Bye, Mike. We had a great weekend.
Good. Awesome. Glad to hear it, Robin. Take care.
So you guys, before we leave off the slide with Mike, I just wanted to share with you the reason I brought him in. He had worked with me. I owned a business for a long time, and he had worked with me personally and with the rest of my company, and just was so amazing as a personal mentor to me. And so he did a lot of this, in case you're wondering, from a budgetary standpoint. He actually did this mostly as a favor to me, and because he and I know each other. So we had a fantastic experience with him. I think we all grew and learned through the process so much about ourselves and so much about how to work together. And the reason we're sharing this now is because I encourage you to do something like this in your own chorus, right? It's easy to have some discord and easy to have people that are kind of out of the loop of what you're trying to do. And by working with somebody who's outside your organization, it can help bring clarity to what you're trying to accomplish, much as it did for the Scottsdale chorus and for the San Diego chorus. So anyway, that's all I'll add on that. So on to the next slide, which is, let's see here. Sorry about that. Let's see. The slides jumped on me. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the year in review. Couple things that we did, we just want to highlight a couple really cool things. So in March, we had Deke Sharon came and did an awesome presentation. And what I loved about his presentation was his ability to help you think outside the box. And he was just so compelling and answered so many questions. So that was a fascinating and really interesting thing. And that was scheduled by our previous education coordinator, Kim. And then we also did budget planning, which, takes some time and energy while you go through, especially in a situation where we hadn't had regional in the year before. So when you're looking at finances, you're looking at what's the long-term implication, what's the short-term implication of no incoming revenue. So that was a very important meeting. And then we also had another educational event in the spring. We brought in choreographer Michelle Elkin. Again, Kim found her and brought her in for us, and her subject was freeing the hidden character, which was just fascinating. Then moving on to summer, we did, as we said before, the 3 one-hour coaching sessions with Mike Mitchell. And then we had our virtual summer seminar, which I'm going to ask Victoria to speak on that, since she was an integral part of planning it. Victoria.
Well, to be clear, the only reason I'm speaking about it is because actually Kim Bettendorf set it all up, and we had fantastic opportunities to connect with the 4 people that you see there: Lori Leifert, Jenna Goodinson, Becky Hine, and Jan Carley. This idea of choose your own session was very successful, and we had a lot of great participation. Moving on.
Oh, did you want to talk about the double quartet contest?
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, this was the best. We had a virtual double quartet contest for the first time. And what was really amazing is that we had 4 double quartets participate with varying levels of technical skills and abilities and all that kind of stuff. But it was just so delightful. And then the judges, we had, regular judges, and their attitude, I have to say, it was so touching to me that it really renewed my faith in the values of Sweet Adeline, because the way they spoke about the double quartets and what their intentions were in the awards that were given were so Sweet Adelines to me. Like, we're all in this together. We're all here to encourage each other and to move forward. I was really proud of it, and I am proud of the double quartets, because that was a hard thing to do, and I commend all of you for that. Hopefully, we will have our next double quartet contest in person. Fingers
Yay.
crossed. But we know now that if we need to do it virtually, that we have the skills, and maybe we'll have even more participate. So good work.
Funny,
to
that
all
thing I
of
picked,
you
it had that one big
Oops.
blob of blood, and it hasn't bled since then.
Whoops.
I'm sorry. If somebody needs to mute, I think, is what's happening here. And it sounds like a boy.
Okay, Victoria, thank you very much for covering that. I appreciate it. So just going on to the next slide, which is 2021 year in review. So we started work on our new Region 21 website in the middle of the summer. And the purpose for this, our website hadn't been updated in quite some time. And we saw that there was a need for really to move us technology forward, to make marketing easier for our choruses and quartets, to allow for online registration, excuse me, of regional or online registrations of a whole host of things that now that many of us are doing manually. So we really wanted to, we decided to take the time and invest financially in developing this new website. It's been going along, it's been kind of a long process, but it will be launching at the end of December. And Claudia's going to talk about more about that in a little bit, but just to introduce that roughly, that's a lot of our time has been spent working on that. As you can see from the list here, a couple more meetings in our planning session with Mike. And then another cool thing that was done was Victoria and Kim did international sponsored a program called Travel in Tune. And so they developed a whole entire thing representing Region 21 that was presented to the region. So they did a really cool job pulling together that presentation. And then moving on to fall. Oh, so go ahead, Victoria.
It wasn't just Kim and me.
Okay.
So that I want to give my good friend Chris Robertson credit for her writing skills. And we also consulted with a couple of other people in different ways. So I'd like to take all the credit, but it really isn't mine.
Thank you for letting me know about that. I appreciate it. Then moving on to fall and winter 21-22. So as you know, we're planning and preparing for our first live event since COVID began in March of 2022. So that's taking up a lot of energy, time, and thought process. And as I said just a moment ago, the regional website will go live at the end of the year. So a lot of time and energy is being spent on that. On to the next slide, which is the State of the Region report. So this is just a little bit about obviously what have been the biggest challenges, but also the successes that we've dealt with. As the team coordinator, what I did was I reached out to a lot of the directors and team coordinators throughout our region just to have a phone conversation, just to say, hey, you know, we're out here, we're listening, what help do you need? How is your chorus doing? Really a wellness check. And so many of us were dealing with the same things. Of course, Zoom fatigue, right? That's, you know, having to be on Zoom calls, nothing like being being together and singing together and hearing the chords like you want to hear it. So Zoom fatigue was really a challenge for everybody, but I thought, wow, Choruses did such a great job of managing that by doing all kinds of creative things, which Beverly's going to talk about in a little bit when she does awards. And certainly the uncertainty of what's coming next, how long is this going to last? You know, will we make it through all of this? So much uncertainty that nobody knew the answer to, and frankly, still doesn't know the answer to. So those were some of the challenges. But from a success standpoint, I think we all did a great job of ensuring engagement, right? Having those Zoom rehearsals, bringing in coaches, doing fun activities. And, you know, that just really helped people kind of hang in there, even when they felt like they didn't want to. We had our summer seminar to bring that in, and lots of people showed up to that. As I said before, direct communication. I believe personally it's really important to have one-on-one phone calls with people. And I encourage you, if you have questions about something that we're doing, transparency is the key here. If you have questions about things we're doing, please reach out to one of us and ask us, because we want that communication. It's super important. Social media is another way, great way to promote your chorus, promote the activities. I know choruses are having concerts coming up. You're getting together with other groups. You're getting together in person. Send us pictures. Let us know what you're doing so that you can share your ideas with other people in the region. We all want to know how people are managing through this process. And we've really beefed up our social media. So you'll see Claudia is posting on a regular basis stuff that's happening in the region. And then we added another thing that's new, which is our newsletter. So every month you get a newsletter from Region 21. And in that newsletter is just tons of interesting information about what's going on with choruses, quartets, directors, calendar, things that are happening. So it's really important that you take the time to look at that. Sometimes we get questions like, well, I don't know what's happening in the region. But both of those things, all of those things are being promoted through our social media and our newsletter. So by opening those things, you're able to keep track of everything that's happening in our region. And then the last thing, and that's what Mike talked about too, was future planning. So when you see the document, the working document that we're working off of, you'll see that we have goals for better communication between choruses, not only with us, but also between choruses, better communication with quartets, all kinds of initiatives that we've come up with and ways that we're working to in the next year to work on those things. So next slide. So I'm going to introduce Robin Haddock. She's our finance coordinator. Robin, take it away.
Yeah, thanks, Darren. Hey, I'm Robin Haddock. Nice to meet all of you guys. I can't wait to meet you guys in person, but I prepared this slide. It's actually, you know, from Mary's last session that she had, but we've got the numbers over on the right where it shows our annual income, our actual expenses, the investment income on some of the investments that we have at the regional level, and then our net income. the assets, liabilities, and our net worth. So for those of you that are interested in the money and are money crunchers, take a look at those numbers. They're actually okay. They're pretty good, but we didn't really do much last year as far as, regional was canceled. So there wasn't any fluctuation in most of those numbers. But I wanted to touch base on just a couple of things. First of all, I wanted to remind everybody that there's that chorus education funding. If you have not claimed that $1,000 max for your chorus, you can do that through April 30th of 2022. The forms, the details are located on our current website out there. There's forms out there. They have different names in there. There's Adelina's name and Mary's name, and it's still in there, but the forms work. They'll get to me. I need just receipts of, the education that you've planned, and you'll get reimbursed by the region up to $1,000. So don't forget about that. And if you have any questions, let me know. We do offer financial support to international chorus and quartet competitors, financial support to the regional rising star competitors. And then, just the support that we give that, some of the virtual events were presented free and, or a greatly reduced price that we had for our members, same as the year before. Competition was canceled again. Hopefully we'll hear more about that for this next year. And then just our financial position, as we continue in this virtual world, some of us are getting back to the return to, the competition, or the rehearsals in person. The RMT, we're still working diligently. So the rest of this town hall, we're going to tell you what we've done. We've not been sitting around, but we need your help. And I also want to thank all of the treasurers and the financial chorus members for everything that they do for their own courses. In this virtual world, it's very hard. It's very different for most of us, but thank you guys for that. And also I want to thank Mary Childers for, helping me and the support for my transition into this financial world. So that's what I have to say about the finances. And thank you everyone, especially the chorus financial coordinators and treasurers. Thank you. And I can't wait to meet you in person.
Awesome. Thank you, Robin. Okay, we're moving on to Tammy, who is our communications coordinator.
Hello, everyone. So this is just a little reminder that we do send out a monthly newsletter titled Stay Tuned. It typically comes out mid-month. And as Darren said, that we've been spotlighting directors, choruses, and quartets each month, along with providing contact information and resources that can be helpful to each of your choruses. So these are all of the current ways that you can find us online and in your inbox. But now I am going to go ahead and hand it over to Claudia to speak more about our website design.
Sorry. Okay, first of all, the caveat, we always have to have Claudia's caveat, and that is that I own a very busy grooming business and pet kennel. So if you hear a lot of a cacophony, just excuse me. I don't have any control over it. Yes, I'm very, very excited about the website, and look at the website as a portal for us for the future, for tremendous help in doing everything that we want to do, emerging from the pandemic, and also emerging into a new world, which is going to be a very interested world in a cappella singing. And I think that you've already seen that, some of you, at your rehearsals, where you have been virtually present, and then all of a sudden you have these people popping out who have been finding you in your virtual world and then coming and meeting you in person in your rehearsals. And the website is an essential goal for that. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more in a minute, but let's get back to the primary goal number one, and that was to create connections through the region. And we've really got a tremendous resource here in talking to each other and talking to each other continually, like Darren said, about all the things in our course that we invent to make things easier, and all the things that we use every day to make our processes easier. And some courses have better tricks than others, and some can share their tricks and would be glad to share their tricks. I don't think anybody in the region would say no to another course asking them, can you give me your hacks, because hacks are really a good thing. So hopefully we can reflect this on the website and direct you guys to each other to really talk about all the things that we can do to make our courses more dynamic. We also want the site to reflect the personality of each course, because we're not all the same and we don't all want to be the same. And we want to be able to tell the world about that and to tell our other region mates and also potential members about what we represent, so that they can find the best fit. We all have histories and we all have desires and dreams for the future, and we want the website to reflect that as well. So what we have created is a designated marketing liaison for each chorus. I am hoping that this becomes a permanent position in every single chorus. It's not really necessarily a board position. It's just that person in your course that you will choose every year, probably when you turn your board over or your team over, or maybe somebody wants to get in there and sit for a long time because they really like this area. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that that person has a passion for telling your story and keeping you connected to the region and keeping you moving forward and everything that you can do to promote your chorus. So we have most of them in place, and we're going to acknowledge them later, but we don't have all of them. So if your course is still missing one, we need that marketing liaison. They're also being very instrumental in helping with the website and its building. Number 2 is to increase our connections with the individual communities out there through this platform, so that the world that's outside knows more about us. And this will help to increase our attendance at chapter events like shows and performances, membership drives, etc. It'll make us more accessible to the media. And we want each of you to help each other develop a client base, so that you have returning clients every year that want to hire us and know that we're there as a resource in the community. It's also going to serve as the go-to for all information possible, in event registration and links to available outside sources, Sweet Adelines and beyond. And it's not always possible to have to get rid of a volunteer job within your course, but if you can minimize the strain on your volunteers in your chorus to do some of the stuff that can be automated, how great is that? So we're going to take the time and effort to really build those tools, and we are doing that right now. Yesterday we had a meeting about the I was surprised to learn that we did not have a universal form for registering for contests. Every course has created their own, has been using them all this time. And so we're creating that universal form. Okay, Region 21 quartets will be showcased. Club 21 members, of course, their shows and activities, our Young Women in Harmony, and our Hall of Fame winners, and every other award a member that we can highlight will be featured also. And the site's just there to show off all our talented members. So I am just so super excited about it. We are heading now for beta testing about the 15th of December. I'm looking for beta test volunteers. So if you're interested in doing that, I would like a cross section of people from highly technical to not so technical at all to volunteer to beta test for about 15 days right during Christmas. Yes, the timing is wonderful. To make sure that all that stuff is working, and it still won't all be working. I mean, there'll still be bugs. So, you have to be very kind to me going into New Year's. Everybody needs to send me a gift right at the end of the year and never complain about all the bugs. But anyway, we're going to try to get all those bugs out by the 15th, from the 15th to January 1st. So wait till you see it. It's just super great. And I'm very excited. And I am introducing Andy, right?
Oh, actually, it's coming back to me. But Claudia, thank you so much. And again, you can hear the passion and energy in her voice, how enthusiastic she is for this subject. We are very lucky to have her and have her driving this entire project, because I don't know how it would happen unless you had somebody like that driving it. So the next slide is the team appreciation slide. And this is just really from our team. There were two people who throughout the course of this year just bent over backwards to help us. The first person was Adelina Duda, obviously the former team coordinator, but what she did for us was she updated our email system. So we now have a very simplistic, straightforward email system. And on top of that, she also worked through our document storage and filing system, so we can now actually find things and we can store things in the proper places. So again, huge kudos to Adelina for her help in taking on that tremendous role for us. And then of course, Mike Mitchell, he just has been so instrumental to us as a team. And we are all very appreciative to him for the time and energy he gave us to help us work through everything. So now I'm going to turn it over to Leah, who is our education coordinator.
Thank you, Darren. As she said, I am Leah Ripito. I am the new and shiny education coordinator. And I am a 24-year Sweet Adeline, 5.5 years as part of the San Diego Chorus. So I'm so happy to be in this region. First of all, I want to say a shout out to Kim Bittendorf. And then there's several things under this umbrella of education coordinator. The Young Women in Harmony coordinator will be Sarah Shapiro. And then I came into this job, and so there were some holes and some things I needed to know. So I reached out to some people. So thanks to Kim Vaughn and Bonnie McKibben for helping me, mentoring me, and you'll probably be hearing from me again. So thanks. Another thing that falls under the education coordinator is the Certified Music Arranger program. We have 2 people in our region that are in that program. Right now, we do not have, a local region person to be at the head of that program. So I reached out to international headquarters and they helped me, thank goodness, find somebody that can help fill that space right now until we find somebody. Linda Olding is going to fill that coordinator spot of working with those 2 people that candidates that are part of that arranger program. She's in Baltimore. So if you know of somebody that can help me with that, I would appreciate it. Let me know. And another thing I'm working on is building our local faculty and coaches that can come to your chorus if you'd like. So, how lucky are we in this region that we have so many wonderful educators and faculty, directors, smart people that can teach us things in our very own backyard. So that's very exciting. Another thing I'm going to mention, summer seminar is planned for June 2022, and I know Victoria will be talking more about that, but I am happy to announce that Robert Mance will be our faculty for that. And if you would like to learn more about Rob Mance, you can look him up, but he is the director of the SAI Chorus Vocal Standard, which is in Kansas City. He also directs Central Standard in the BHS. We brought him to San Diego Chorus for a Zoom, and I also had some sessions with him in Harmony U. He will just be wonderful. I know everyone will enjoy him and love him, so watch for more information about that. And I just want to say thank you to the directors and the team coordinators that I reached out to for input and feedback that gave it to me. I appreciate it. And the window is not closed. I accept feedback anytime. So I appreciate it. And thanks again. And now I'm going to pass it on to our events coordinator, the lovely Victoria.
Actually, I'm sorry. I think our slides got out of order. It's Andy's turn. Sorry, guys.
Hi, everybody. I'm Andy Rostel, the director coordinator. I've been in Sweet Adelines for about 40 years and in this region for most of that time. I want to do a shout out to Bonnie McKibben this year for helping out with the DCP as a DCP proctor. We do have 2 ladies that were able to get through the program in spite of COVID. Sarah Shapiro from Harbor Lights was able to achieve her approved status, and Pam McCombs, OC Sound, achieved her certified status. So that's huge considering what we're going through right now. So thank you to Bonnie and everybody who's helped with that.
And I'm next. I'm Tammy Meyers. I am communications coordinator. Did I cut you off, Andy? I'm sorry.
I was just going to introduce you, but that's okay.
So I've only been in Sweet Adelines for about four-ish years. But I wanted to take this time to thank Carol and Sue for maintaining the current online roster, Kat for designing our lovely Stay Tuned newsletter artwork, and Lori for helping each month, giving me a second set of eyes to proofread our newsletter. It's been very, very helpful. And then finally, this is kind of ongoing, I think, for all of us. I would like to thank Adelina for her leadership and support with the website, our email system, MailChimp, and all the things. So thank you so much to all of you. And now Victoria is going to share her thanks.
Whoopsie. There's so much to talk about in the world of events, but I'm just going to do it in order, and then we'll get to regional at the bottom of that. The ongoing awards chair I'd like to thank, who is Suzanne DeBell, who for years and years and years has been the one to order our medals, get them straightened away at every single event. And she's one of those unsung heroes of our team. I thank her very much. Registration chair and roster chair is Sue Bowden, who is here. And Sue, I said it to you yesterday when we had our meeting about the website, you know, just whatever is needed, you're there doing the most that you possibly can for our region. And I appreciate it. And I especially appreciate it because Sue is a person who dots the I's and crosses the T's. And I'm the one who takes a big fat brush and goes across things. So I love to have people who dot the I's and cross the T's, and Sue, you're one of them. Thank you. IT coordinator Donna Snow from Vocal Connection has volunteered to help us in putting together registration and so on. And this is just the beginning of it. But the fact that Donna, who is a pretty new Sweet Adeline, stepped up. And Jennifer, I see that question. I'll get to you in just 1 second. Regional Convention Steering Committee, the RCSC, those letters that nobody ever knows, but it's the committee that puts on the regional convention. Essential, hardworking, always dedicated volunteers. Mary Chilton is the chair of that committee, and bless her, she's been the chair since just before we shut down. So she's been the chair for several years, but we haven't had a convention. But Mary was our finance coordinator on the RMT. She termed out on that, but without losing a step, became the chair of the regional convention committee. Our competition coordinator is Lou Gordon, and she's done that for a couple of years, and she will be doing it this time. And what a partner she is to me, because I always say she takes care of everything that's on stage, and I take care of everything that's off stage. And that's how I have to think of it in my mind, or I go nuts. Darren Hurst, our team leader, is continuing to be the official panel liaison. And we always get tons and tons of thank yous from Darren and her team from the judging group, because her group so gracious. And I know that this year in Albuquerque, she's going to need some extra help because she's going to be wearing both her hats. The assistant chapter coordinator for Harbor Lights was Doreen Philbin. She, I have to give her full credit, because Doreen, who has now withdrawn from the Harbor Lights, did everything getting ready for 2020. And now we have paperwork to go for 2022, but she will not be acting in that. But she was a great Sweet Adeline and getting us ready. Overall Assistant Secretary was Sue Bowden. It is now Diane Taggart. Also an I daughter and a T crosser. So I'm very grateful for that. So to get into the meat of it, Darren did mention that we are having a regional convention. We were given the option by Sweet Adelines and the RMT, and taking in all the information and opinions from the region, has opted to have an in-person convention. You all got the notice on the 10th. Every member got a notice about regional going forward, and that the RMT would make that decision. And so we are doing in person. There are some digital opportunities that you can look at in the, but it wouldn't be for international qualification. But we'll talk about that more at the Q&A at the end of this. I would encourage you all who are very, very concerned, as we all are, to stick around and hear more about the plans for regional. And I would also say there is always information being put out on the monthly newsletter. I know you're not all on Facebook, or people are not all on Facebook, but there is lots of opportunity for getting information. The most important thing to get fixed in your mind is that we're going to follow the same pattern as we always have, in terms of having a bulletin 100 days out, and that is December 1st, where all your information is going to be there. Everything from housing to the COVID protocols to the schedule. Just please open your emails, and all the information is in there. And I will talk to you again in a few minutes.
Okay, so Claudia, it is your turn. Next slide.
Okay, well, my thank yous are heartfelt. We always want to say thank you to the graphic goddesses, Kat Shaver and Linda Carlberg, both Harbor Lights members who never fail to put their creative mind to work. They're not just graphics people, they're marketing people, but we seem to always lean on them for those images that we use, and we're really grateful to have them help us. And the new marketing liaisons, we have Peach Craft from Simply Acapella, Tara Theismeyer from Harbor Lights, Deb Straight from Honolulu Blend, Rebecca Macias from Inland Empire, Linda Donahoe from OC Sound, Irene Zimmer for Positively Acapella, Nicole Knox, and I'll come back to this in a minute. Nicole is actually part of the web team, and I want to talk about her a little bit, from San Diego, Teresa Taylor from Tucson Desert Harmony, Katie Metcalf from Vista Hills, Denise Connellan from Scottsdale, and Joanne Connor from Westwind Harmony. Now, there are a few that weren't able to get somebody appointed to this position. As I said before, we're still really looking for you to do that, because we want everybody involved in as many facets as possible. And there are some people that are still kind of stuck on getting us information. And if we don't have that information in a timely manner, and now we're kind of coming up on our deadline here, because I said the beta testing starts December 15th for the new website, then we either have to make a decision to drop off some information about your chorus or just put up old information. Neither one of them is really the alternative that we want to choose. So if you're on today and you're a liaison and you still owe me information, or you're unsure, please get in touch. If you are not a liaison and you are curious about who may be doing that work in your chorus, please go back to your chorus and ask them, are we up to date? Did we get all of our stuff in? Because we just want this thing to knock everybody's socks off when it does launch. Just saying a little bit more about Nicole Knox from San Diego. She is part of the web team that we hired to do this job. Her partner is a woman named Jenna Moore, who's more of the engineer. So Jenna drives the train or puts the train together, and Nicole Knox goes around and takes tickets and and writes marketing blurbs for the train. And they just are amazing. They've done many very professional websites together. Tremendous depth of marketing knowledge, and we're just so pleased to have them. So Nicole's doing double duty, but San Diego gets to be the test baby all the time. So that's not a bad thing. So I want to say so much thank you to everybody on this list and everybody else out there who's interested in marketing, who wants to get more involved. Let's make our courses grow. We need 100 people courses in every single course, right? Good. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Claudia. Appreciate that. And now we're introducing Bev, who's going to talk about membership and her thanks there.
Right. Hello, everybody. I do have one thing to add into Claudia Cannon's list for marketing liaisons, and that is for Enchanted Mesa. It is my daughter, Donna Berardinelli, is the marketing liaison.
Yes, and thank you very much. And I will get that added to the slide so we have it for perpetuity.
Great. You know, there's so much that goes on in membership, and I work a lot with the membership chairs, but I've had the privilege this year of taking an idea that was brought to the RMT and working with Myrna Akrish and developing a membership anniversary recognition certificate. So that's one of our new ventures for this year. And you know, we're still working out some glitches here and there, but thank you so much to Myrna. She created the certificate and she mails them out to everybody. So thank you, Myrna.
Okay. Next up, Bev, did you have any more thank yous you wanted to do?
No.
Okay, next one, I'm the next one on the list for team appreciation. I just wanted to point out a couple of things. Of course, Adelina, who's come up a million times here, but again, thanks to her for her unending patience and assistance and mentoring me through this. Region 21 directors and team leaders, thank you for taking the time to speak with me and share your thoughts and concerns, right? Just everything from soup to nuts. It's important for us to have this relationship, for our directors coordinator to have this relationship with you, and for us to continue. I think a lot of times people don't talk anymore. And as I said earlier in this presentation, it's important for us to talk to each other. My RMT team, you guys are amazing. And I want to thank you for your time, energy, and support while we figured all of this out. I couldn't ask for a better group of women to work with. Standing Rules Committee, as we have choruses going through the perspective process, Kathy Bowman has been keeping track of all of that. And we have 3 perspective choruses that are going through the process, one of which, Vocal Connection, is very close to making it into the regular list of active choruses. So congratulations to them. Next slide is live rehearsals and events. Just a quick, those were some things that were online. We just put those in there because the pictures were neat. Just pictures we got from around the region. That people have posted online, kind of showing what they were doing inside and outside as we got back to rehearsals. Next slide is for Beverly. You're going to present regional awards.
Okay, so excuse me, I have to read from my script. But I want to just say that 2020 and 2021, as we all know, there were so many challenges that everyone who loves barbershop harmony had to deal with. The really great news is that all of our choruses figured out how to improvise, adapt, and overcome the challenges we face to keep our members engaged, active, and learning. So we came up with a new way to do awards this year, and had some questions we wanted to ask everybody. And reading the responses to those choruses that submitted was really kind of exciting. You shared everything that was so encouraging and a testament to your spirit, your ingenuity, and your genuine care for each other. What you have all done is keep our art form thriving, but also you've done things for each other throughout these challenging times. And for that, every single person is to be recognized. So thank you very much. We do have some shout outs to the choruses that really, they shared something that really special that they did. And I'm going to read, there's 5 choruses that I'm going to read from. Sounds of Harmony. They always started with sharing and remembering birthdays. Positively a cappella, they played Getting to Know You games with Joan Boudelier during her uplifting visit. Inland Empire, they formed a Valentine's quartet and they spent 2 whole days driving to every member's house to sing for them, whether it was indoors or outdoors. Vista Hills, they learned 2 new songs sent out by the Region and International, as well as 1 song selected by their director. Harbor Lights, they used a buddy system where buddies stayed connected between rehearsals with reassignments every few weeks. So, and as reading your responses, all the accomplishments fell into 4 categories. And these are the categories that are listed on the slide. So education and learning, creating a variety of musical activities, coaching and concepts to foster learning and growth in our art form. I won't read the rest of them right now because you can read that for yourself. But there are 4 choruses that we do want to recognize that really stood out in these 4 different categories. So I'm going to go with the first one, education and learning. So special recognition goes to OC Sound Chorus. Woohoo, yay. So OC Sound, they took tag singing to the next level by blending members' recordings into quartets, and then they brought them back and played them for the chorus. They showed iconic performances of a chorus or a quartet, as well as spotlighting their own performer of the week during rehearsals. OC Sound capitalized on multiple virtual education events with faculty and presenters to include a 4-part series on the judging categories and how to improve scores in each. They also managed to get Deke Sharon to do 2 sessions on a cappella music, the history of Barbershop and how it's changed over the years. Is that cool or what? So congratulations, OC Sound, on this special recognition. Yay. So member engagement and support award. This one, events and actions that supported the social and emotional health of members, both individually and as a chorus. And the chorus that stood out for that award, special recognition for this category goes to Simply a Cappella Chorus. Yay. Simply a Cappella created weekly Peach Follies to include games, quizzes, fun facts, and enjoying recorded performances from award-winning choruses and quartets. They created and shared 2 Christmas grams. They held an outside baby shower and celebrated a high school graduation with the drive-by parade. Simply a Cappella also had Halloween and Christmas parties where the costumes and dress-up participation was phenomenal. Then in April, they began a healthy contest to encourage support for each other as they got ready to resume in-person rehearsals. Little treats and gifts were mailed or delivered to the participants. So congratulations, Simply a Cappella, on this special recognition. The next category, creativity and innovation. Imaginative and inspired use of technology to facilitate virtual rehearsals, performances, and shows. Special recognition in this category goes to the San Diego Chorus. Yay! San Diego recorded and released 12 virtual singles during the time of being apart. Quartets affiliated with the chorus recorded and released 19 virtual singles during that time as well. San Diego produced and released 2 virtual shows, as well as being featured in 4 virtual community performances or festivals. They also developed and launched 6 virtual a cappella singing grams for birthdays, Valentine's, and holidays to continue fundraising for the chorus. In addition, they also enjoyed 11 virtual educational events facilitated by guest coaches using quizzes, polling, and prizes to increase engagement during these. Awesome, San Diego. Congratulations on this special award. And resiliency. Responding with love and support to members facing adversity and challenges of all kinds. Special recognition in this category goes to Enchanted Mesa Show Chorus. Woohoo! Enchanted Mesa responded to the adversity of their members with love and support. They allowed time, grace, and support for members that lost family members, experienced significant injury, and health challenges. Their virtual installation and member recognition included balloon awards for milestone anniversaries, paper plate awards for every member, and international and regional recognitions to honor a 50-year member. Birthday parades, virtual parties for holidays, invitations to the 5 local barbershop courses to education sessions all help to keep connections with those that would otherwise have been isolated. Congratulations, Enchanted Mesa, on this special recognition. Woohoo! So what we have is, and I will get in touch with these 4 courses. We have a $50 Amazon gift card that we will be mailing to the person that submitted this award information to me. So congratulations to everyone, especially these 4 courses. A huge thank you to everyone in Region 21 for all you have done for each other and to keep what we do alive and thriving during the pandemic. So special thank you to everyone. Yay.
Thank you, Bev, and thank you for compiling all that information for us. We really appreciate it. Super exciting. Okay, guys, we're coming to the end of our presentation. Victoria, your slide is next. Is there anything you want to add to this slide before we go on and close out and then we do the question and answer?
I guess I just want to point out the roadmap to rehearsals, people, and I should have put the thank you for that task force. We've created a task force in November, December, and we put together a document that was sent to every chorus team leader with all kinds of advice and links that are still active, those links, if you have that document, to help you figure out how to handle the chorus rehearsals. But that task force was made up of medical people, the competition coordinator, myself, the chairperson, and I'm really grateful because it's a great document, and we need to thank Region 34 who created the first document that frankly I just plagiarized like crazy with, of course, appropriate information for our region. The theme for In Harmony Again, which is the theme for Albuquerque. Do we have that, Tammy? Did we get that logo on there? Yeah, there it is. Beautiful logo made by somebody who has been mentioned earlier, Kat Shaver. And when you want to hang around, I'll go over more details about regional if you like.
Awesome. Thank you, Victoria. So we've come to the end of our portion. First, I want to check and see were there any questions that came in on the chat before we move on to the regional information.
Well, the one question, and Jennifer had that, which is where is summer? And so to everybody, our intention is to do an in-person summer regional in June, as Leah announced. And our intention is to do it in San Diego. And I say intention because to be honest with you, I have not turned my attention to that event because I'm really busy with regional, but we're working towards it. And Jennifer French is going to help me, she just said.
Oh,
Yay!
wow,
So it might actually happen. Yay, Jennifer, thank you. We'll talk later.
Thank you. So any other questions before we move on to the regional Q&A? Was that all there was? Okay, fantastic. So we've run a little over an hour, but I appreciate everybody being here. Please plan to stay on because I know Victoria and the rest of the team have a bunch of information to share with you. If you need to get off, by all means, head out. But thank you for being here again. We really appreciate all of you. And we'll see you or stay on.
We'll see you, or we'll still see you.
Yeah, we'll still see you.
Okay.
All
Wow,
right.
that was great. 50 people, 51 people
Yeah, that's
were
fantastic.
here today, so that's fantastic. Let me just put it out right now, other than regional. Does anybody have a question other than regional, or would you like me to just sort of start from there? If you have questions, please put them in the chat, because we can't, of course, see everybody all at once. No? Okay. So let me, there's Denise King is coming in, so hang on one second. So let me give you the skeleton of what's happening. Everybody has been officially notified by Sweet Adelines International that we will be having a regional competition in 2022, and that it would be up to the regional management teams to decide whether to have an in-person event or a digital event. Now, Darren did try to talk to as many representatives of each chorus in the time that we were making this decision. And the vast majority said that they would like to do an in-person event, not a virtual event. So we have been working very hard and in a very focused way to make plans so that when Sweet Adelines International announced it to the team leaders, announced it to general membership, we would be ready to tell you a plan and give you some details of it. All of the team leaders and all of the directors have received a huge packet of information. And it's such a huge packet of information that we all have to give a little grace, as Darren said, while we absorb the information. So we will be in person, we will be in Albuquerque, and we've made a few changes in order to accommodate COVID protocols, in order to accommodate perhaps fewer people coming with their chorus. And I'm just going to make up some number. In a chorus of 100 people, we might only have in person 50 people. And there's going to be a process involved in sharing that information with the Regional Convention Steering Committee. To reassure you, we're doing it like we've always done it, through bulletins. The first bulletin goes out December 1st. In that bulletin, as always, you will get information like what hotel, what venue for the contest, approximately what is the schedule, what do you have to do to make hotel reservations, what the hotel reservation costs. It is the Hyatt downtown. There's several Hyatts in Albuquerque, but if you want to look at it, go to Hyatt downtown Albuquerque and you can have a look at it. Your team leaders do have further information on that, so it's in their packet. We have a huge document because, as you all know, COVID protocols are essential. The best that we could do is to come up with a plan of how to be as safe as we can be. It's not perfect and it won't work for everybody, I'm sorry to say, but it's the best we can do. But if you have questions about it, if it's not clear, if you think, oh, that's all wrong, write me a letter. We discuss these things almost daily at the moment. And what I'm finding is that the questions that I'm getting are all reasonable questions and might include things that we haven't thought about yet. So send them out. We'll try to answer as soon as we can. If you've got a concern, got an opinion, we want to hear it. We want to hear it. But it's hard to make 100% of the people happy 100% of the time. So we would ask for some kindness. And I say that because we're all scared. And I have never, ever in my life heard a story about somebody being frightened and their go-to move is to be sweet, kind, and positive. It's just not human. It's not the way humans operate. So we're doing the very, very best we can as a team. Will regional attendees be, that's the big one. Thank you, Kelly. So the big question, and Kelly Roberts just asked it, is will we be required to be vaccinated? And the answer is yes and no. We would like people to be vaccinated and we will be asking for proof of vaccination, but you have an option, which is to do a test within 48 hours of coming to registration, and you will be asked to show that test. Once that is looked at, accepted, then you can go through the get your AET. We will have a couple of places nearby. If for some reason you couldn't get that test done before you got there, we'll have some addresses of places that you can shoot over and get a test. We do want the best kind of test, but they kind of really improved the speed with which they get you answers and results. So we will be asking for that. You won't be able to pick up your AET until you have shown us one or the other, your vaccination card or your test results. So I see another question. Is that the same one? No, that's the same one. So everything's going to be at the Hyatt Albuquerque. And we have some kind of cool things that we're adding because we really need to get together. Those of us who feel safe and want to get together, we're going to have on Thursday night, there will not be a Club 21 show, but there will be the usual, it's 48 hours, Andy. There'll be the usual briefing, and then we're going to have a cocktail reception with hors d'oeuvres and beverages. Absolutely optional, but we just thought we'd get all of us that are there on Thursday together and have a couple of drinks, have a little cracker, and get together for an hour or so after the briefing. The other thing that we're adding is the regional management team breakfast on Sunday morning before the judges class. We'll have the usual judges class, but you will be welcome to come to that, to the breakfast. Both of those are no charge to the member. And then Saturday night, during the after the Harmony Showcase, the usual Harmony Showcase, thanks Patty, we're gonna have, we were thinking about having a dinner, and so you may have seen some details that said that. We think we're gonna change that, and I say think, so give us a little thinking time. After the Harmony Showcase, have coffee and dessert. So we'll kind of spread out physically. We'll spread out physically and have a little coffee and dessert after the showcase. Again, totally optional. Now, there was a question about masks. The mask protocol is based on two things. One, what is happening in New Mexico when we're there, right? We have to follow the law, and at the moment, the way it is everybody needs to be masked indoors, including singers. We don't know what's going to be happening in March, do we? Because who knew we would be here a year ago? So hang on one second. I'm just looking at a question here. So the mask protocol is kind of complicated. So that's why we have a COVID protocols document. So I won't go through everything, but we're going to be as safe as we can possibly be in the Region 21 world, I'll call it, separate from the hotel world and the Albuquerque world. Within the Region 21 world, we will be requiring masks. So that what we'll know is if you have an AET on, we know that you're either got a negative on your test or you've been vaccinated and you have a mask on. That's the best that we can do. If you can think of a better way of doing it, speak up. We'd love to hear it. Jennifer had a question about will quartets be singing around? Within the, I'm going to say the confines of the hotel, you must be wearing a mask. So if the quartets want to sing, and we hope you do want to sing, you will, if you're in the public areas, you'll have to be wearing a mask. So whatever that means to you as a singer, whether that means you create a singer's mask, I can't make that decision for you. None of us can make that decision for you, but you will be in public. So you have to follow whatever the.
Victoria, we lost your audio.
They're actually right across from the Hyatt is a giant outdoor place that quartets can practice in, that choruses can practice in. It's a large public space. You're welcome to do that. At the Hyatt, there are a few outdoor spaces. One of the big changes that we made this year for a number of reasons is we will not be having a webcast, but we will be having a live Facebook streaming cast. I know that's wrong, and I know people are laughing at me right now, but it's a Facebook streaming event. So you will still get, your individual link to your performance, but in general, there will be live Facebook streaming. And in addition to being able to sit in a big space with lots of extra room, outside of the competition area, there will be TVs that will show that. You'll also be able to simply take your phone or your other device outside if you want to sit with a bunch of friends and watch the cast. I'm going to call it the cast. Or you can go back to your room and you can bring it up on your TV just like you normally would with Facebook. Of course, you have to join Facebook in order. Not sure if everyone knows it's going to be in the ballroom. Okay. So the reason I didn't mention where it's going to be is because nobody knew where it was before, but so that you know, for a number of reasons, chiefly among them to keep us safe, everything's going to be at the hotel. There isn't a separate venue. So you will stay in the hotel, registration will be at the hotel, the boutique will be in the hotel, and contests will be in the hotel, in the ballroom. All the official rehearsals that we have, the Friday night flat floor rehearsal, the morning rehearsal on before chorus contest on Saturday, all in rooms there. And again, if you look at the COVID procedures, you see we've allowed extra space, extra, I'm going to call it resting time between usages of those rooms. So while we might have simply a cappella in room A and vocal connection in room C, B is in the middle resting for half an hour. So we've tried to include all those kinds of ideas. Some people have asked about the air exchange rate, and I am working on getting that number because I know, especially for scientifically minded people, they want to know what the air exchange rate is, and I just don't have that yet. As you can imagine, it's a kind of a moving target. Things are changing all the time, but your regional committee is working as well as we possibly can for your safety and for your fun. And your RMT, Darren didn't mention that, but usually the RMT meets 4 times a year. We have met once a month this year. In addition, we did the whole coaching thing. So, we're doing everything we know how to support our singers in Region 21. I'm going to be unspotted if I can. How can I unspot me? So if anybody wants to put up their hand or put up that little hand signal, I'll try to answer any particular questions you have. Oh, I wanted, and while I'm waiting for people to think of those questions, I really appreciate it that some choruses have met already. And after having met, I get an email saying, what about this? What about this? What about this? I love that, because there'll be things that we as a group have not thought about. So speak up. Don't get the information, from the corner junkie. Come to the source and ask us questions. We'd love to talk to you about it. Is an audience allowed in the ballroom? Yes, Barry, Sarah. What the health department recommends is 6 square feet of space for every person in a room. We're going to go for a minimum of 10 square feet per person. The ballroom where the contest will be will more than accommodate us, and we'll set up the chairs in as distant a way as we can. Like, one of my ideas, all this is not in cement yet, is usually you have one access point down the middle. We're going to do 2, so we can have 3 clumps, and then we'll have more distance front to back with the chairs. And we'll try to, there'll be more chairs. I'm going to make up some numbers right now. If we have 300 people coming, we'll have 1,000 chairs, so that there's lots of opportunity for you to keep your distance. That's the plan right now. We'll, at the entrance to every event, the 2 contests and the Harmony Showcase, you'll need your AET. You will have your temperature taken, and you will be given a fresh, clean, color-coded mask. That's all to try to mitigate any harm. And if you have another way of controlling it, like I say, pipe up. Love to hear it. What do the colors represent on the colors don't represent anything other than I thought that at the Harmony Showcase we would have black. Other than that, I haven't, maybe it's pink for the quartets, maybe it's green for the choruses, and maybe it's black for the Harmony Showcase. TBD. We just need different colors because we need to know that it's a clean mask. So on Saturday night, everybody comes in, they get a clean mask. Now, whether you're going to be singing with a mask on the stage, we are not clear about it because of, again, 2 things. 1, the laws of New Mexico. 2, what do the judges have to say about that? So we will always keep you informed, the news as we know it. It's a very serious thing. It's a life-threatening thing for many people. So we're trying to just be as, and then once the plan is made, which you will see on December 1st, which is what, 2 weeks from now, does it work for you or does it not work for you? That's an individual decision. I truly hope that we've thought of everything possible that makes you feel safe. But at that point, once you've read it and understood it, if you say, that's not for me, I can't come, I'm really sorry. And I don't know what else we can do about it, except do this for next year. The advice that we got from our Sweet Adelines advisor was to think of this year as a rebuilding year, that it's very important that we come together in a safer way as we possibly can. So even if you're not going to be singing, we'd love to see you. And the last point I make, the last point I'm going to make is we are going to need more help from all the choruses and the Albuquerque Barbershop community, because it's just, again, it's different. We need actual help, and we will put that out and say, you know, are there 2 people in your chorus that aren't going to sing but are going to come and can sit at registration? You know, I'm making it up because I haven't thought it through yet, but we will be needing help. We'll be needing help from the choruses that are competing. If, you know, maybe you can help us on Friday during the quartet contest. So please think about that. It does take a lot of people to put this on, and we want to do it so that at that dessert function after Harmony Showcase, we'll just be excited and happy and together. Just waiting. It's a lot to think about, right? It's a lot to consider.
I think there was a question on here about a chorus shrinking in size, but we don't have the answer for that, Victoria. If you, that'll kind of be up to, and that's an organizational decision for Sweet Adelines International, I believe.
Yeah, Sarah, we don't know about that. And, you know, because you will need to, you know, register with Sweet Adelines in the normal way. And also I would encourage team leaders, you know, I'm seeing team leaders right here on this Zoom. You know, if you normally have 60 people and you could only bring 40, please come anyway. We'd love to see you. We'd love to support you. And there will be the normal process. And yes, big question on the chat line. Yes, Patty Cobb Baker, there will be cake. It's the only thing you have to do. You could get Patty Cobb Baker to come to Antarctica for a skinny dipping contest if you told her there was cake. I'm sorry, I gotta tell the truth.
Okay, if there's no more questions, gals, we've been on for about an hour and a half. Anybody think of anything else they want to ask before we end today?
And just, you know, write me, my address is on every document in the world, but seriously, that monthly newsletter, all our addresses are on there. If anybody in your chorus does not know who's on the regional management team, open your email, please, my friends. It's right there. And we are here. You
All
are
right.
welcome.
Thank you, everyone.
Love
All right,
you.
gals, thank you for being here today. We appreciate you.
So happy. Can't wait to see you all. Cannot wait.
I know, we're gonna get to sing together.
Woo! Yay for singing.